Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News and Big Ten Network joins us now. Mike, in the break, I was saying that, and I said it earlier, the NFL game last night was without question the craziest beginning and ending to any NFL game I've ever seen. I don't know which was more shocking, but I only wish that John McEnroe was on the Manning cast last night as a guest in the first portion. They should have had him on the second portion because he was despondent, of course. He did an interview with Aaron Rodgers that they showed right before this thing, bringing it all together. And then, then they've got him on and they were talking about the, you cannot be serious thing. And he said, well, my wife has said, you can never say that again. He said, but when Aaron Rodgers goes down, I said, you cannot be serious. But I only wish he would have been on the Manning cast at the end of the game when they run that punt back, because I guarantee you he's screaming, you cannot be serious. I mean, if you did not watch this game, Aaron Rodgers goes down on the fourth play I'm not even going to guess. But
clearly some sort of ankle area issue, whether it's beyond that.
As long as it's not
I mean, we don't know. There was a lot of speculation last night from the doctors on Twitter and such who feel they can diagnose things from far away. Look, I once diagnosed an ACL from the upper deck at Three River Stadium, so it can happen. I mean, I was there in 1995 when Rod Woodson turned his knee the wrong way trying to tackle Barry Sanders, of course. And why wouldn't you turn your knee the wrong way when you're one-on-one with him? And as he went off the field, I said to my friend who took me to the game, I think it's his ACL. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm able to diagnose injuries like that, but that you still see that all over Twitter now. And it's best to wait until, at the very least, someone who's actually put their hands on his ankle can tell you exactly what's going on. But it's not good one way or the other, and it could be disastrous. So,
yeah, here's my thinking. He was not showing any pain or very little pain. When you have I went through in athletics, my ankles were just crap. And buddy, it hurts. I don't care how many times you do it. It hurts. He wasn't showing that. And I've never torn an Achilles, which I think just popped. And I don't know how much pain you're in at that moment. That is the fear that it's an Achilles. And if that's the case, his career's over. Unfortunately.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I won't go that far. I mean, if we're speculating that it is that, we're supposing that it is that. Let's. This is a purely hypothetical. I would not say that his career is over. I know athletes. I've been around them for 40 years. So have you, Jim. But they don't want to go out that way if they don't have to.
No, that's just It's just. I only say that because the Achilles is probably the worst injury in all of sports.
It's a really tough one. It really is. It is.
And with his age, that's why I say that. With his age,
I understand. But look at what Alex Smith did, right? I mean, Alex Smith was in as bad a shape probably as any athlete we've ever seen.
That's another.
But he did not say, okay, I get it. It's enough. He said, I don't want to go out like that. And that's probably, if indeed that's the diagnosis that Rodgers has either already heard or ultimately hears, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he says, I don't want to go out like that. Now, I mean, we've just seen too many athletes that fight their way back because they don't want that to be the last thing that they do. And also because, honestly, if indeed, again, if that's what it is, for the betterment of the rest of his life, he is probably better off trying to rehab to NFL shape than he is to Mike DeCourcy shape, let's say. That trying to get back to playing as an NFL player will do better things for the rehab of his Achilles, if indeed that's what it is. It would do better things for that rehabilitation than if his idea was, well, just going to go back to having a normal life. He'll rehab it at a more intense level, and it'll heal better. So I'm not willing to say that if indeed that's what it is, that we've seen the last of him in a pair of shoulder pads.
Well, I'd hope not, but I have to say I feel bad for K-Bro and the entire Jets nation because I mean there has not been. When's the last time where there was this much hype in New York? Brett Favre came there. I know. I mean, I don't know if this equaled that, but
I think it definitely superseded it because Brett, don't forget, was. He was farther past his prime. I mean, when's the last time? When did Aaron Rodgers win his last MVP? Last year, the year before? It hasn't been that long.
And he was really ingratiating himself to the New York market. He was going out. He was being seen. And I was listening last night, and he said that Brett didn't do that. Or it was John McEnroe talking about that. He says, I really loved what he was doing. He goes, he had me believing. I was a believer. But how about the backup that comes in? Because the defense of the Jets, they keep him in the game. This guy comes off the bench and manages them as well and doesn't put them in bad positions. They stay in the game. And if you didn't watch this game, you missed out because it goes to overtime. And Garrett Wilson, who I don't know the story, but I know there's a great story on him making the team through Hard Knocks. He was apparently a big focus of it, but runs the kickoff or punt back, and it was crazy. And I'm like, is this really happening? It was crazy. And I'm like, first of all, you don't see a ton of punts being run back for touchdowns in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah. I've never seen an overtime walk. I have never seen a walk-off overtime. It's only happened 3 times, I believe, ever. That was the 3rd time. So the shock of it was crazy. Watching the coach, that was almost a college-like atmosphere. The coach was in the dog pile and barely missed getting sucked right into it because he was down there right in the middle of them. But it was really fun watching that. And but daggone it, that stinks for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote about Aaron Rodgers coming to New York and how much it was necessary. His time in Green Bay had gotten so tired. He was constantly complaining and then constantly failing in the end, even though they were successful in the regular season. And he just needed a new spot. And coming to New York, which had actually gotten excited over just finishing 7-10 last year. It had been so long since they were even that good that they had a lot of excitement about finishing 7-10. And then you bring in someone like Rodgers with his ability, as gifted a quarterback physically as we've seen. For him to come in there, they thought that it was going to be really a real possibility that they do something great. The Sporting News, Vinny Iyer predicted that they would win the Super Bowl. So they really had a lot of high hopes and a lot of excitement. And I mean, literally 4 plays in to have that spoiled in the way that it was just tragic on a sporting level, not on a human level, but on a sporting level. That's tragedy to play 4 plays and then be down and out for at the minimum the rest of the game and quite possibly well beyond that.
Yeah, it was certainly just a wow moment. And if I don't know how anyone, when you have the opportunity to watch the games, does not watch the Manning cast. Have you watched it before, Mike?
I have not watched it. No.
Surprising. So you haven't taken that in? Not interested in that?
If I'm going to watch a game, I want to watch the game. That's me. If I
they're breaking it down is the thing about
I get that, but for me, it's there's a lot going on. I mean, I've not watched it. I've seen, but I've not watched. It's distracting to me.
Yeah,
I'm not
I get that.
I'm one who wants the sideline camera angle and
right. I get it.
When I'm watching hockey and they switch to the end zone angle, I'm like, nope, I don't want that. I want to be able to see what I can see,
Yeah, if it's something that I definitely, if I feel I need to take care of or to be into, that would probably not be the venue for me. But I love it because I just sit there and laugh. They crack on each other, the guests that they have. And then, of course, their second guest last night was Ryan Fitzpatrick. And he's got his Buffalo helmet on, and they come back and tie the game. And then, of course, they lose, and he's just all despondent. But anyway, I enjoy it. It's funny, but it was just an unbelievable. I'm still shocked over that thing, man.
By the way, for the record, the guy who returned the punt was Xavier Gibson. Garrett Wilson.
Why did I say Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson didn't have any trouble making the team. He's the guy who played at Ohio State.
He's a receiver.
Yes.
I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, no, it's just. But
Garrett Wilson was on the post game last night, and okay. I don't know why they had him on 17
because he made that catch, the ridiculous catch.
Yeah, I know. But nothing's better than that walk-off punt. But the thing is, there's a story behind that guy that I missed on Hard Knocks of him making the team. It must have been real long odds of him making the team. But thank you for that. I don't know why I said that. But something else.